when you have affluent speakers and effective speakers like Mr. Bhattacharya, Shri Pankaj Batra ji, and of course Dr. Rahul Tongia, तो मेरे को लगता है बाद में बोलने में केवल धन्यवाद और शुभकामनाएं रह जाती है. Nothing else remains. I think Mr. Bhattacharya has covered all the spectrum of the smart energy system, right from the energy mix and the way we are operating and the way we are going ahead. And he has given, I think, all through the main important topics which we need to cover in the smart energy systems. And of course, Shri Pankaj Batra ji has made my job easier because he has traversed through all the journey of the smart grid activities as an NSGM or pre-avatar of that NSGM as a smart grid task force, and of course the smart grid forum, which has been founded as a public-private entity, and now it is a total private entity leading, I think, different areas and different innovation in that sector altogether. But yes, of course, the energy trilemma highlighted by Shri Rahul ji, and of course the project quadrilemma just spoken about by Shri Bhattacharya. I remember of a famous quote, I think, what you cannot do shall not affect what you can do. It should not affect what you can do. So basically some things are changing altogether. I wanted to cover at the end of my deliberation or the speech, but I have been asked to do that. But I think the main part is that, as we say, ki proof of the pudding is in eating, so definitely how to go about it. Basically innovation and collaboration. I remember our very famous Kanachina Purano ka quote is like that. What is the best form of governance? The best form of governance is, this is in Sanskrit, na rajyam na rajasit na dando na acha dandika dharmane prajasa rakshanti sama parasparam. Basically collaboration and going by your duty, what you can deliver more. It's an ecosystem altogether. Ecosystem, even in case of smart energy system, if we say there is one part is policy makers that we fall in, that is Ministry of Power and the entities like that, and then comes the utility, and then comes the regulators, and the end is the end consumers. Everybody has to play their role, and they have to play their role not from the perspective of the rights or duty, of course the obligation, that all together goes together, and we have to deliver much more. We have to think about others also, and that goes beyond saying. If we go with the smart energy concept as such, of course, with the topic and the idea behind that, when Sudhir ji or Vinay ji talked about, basically the energy transformation, what we are looking at. And when we talk of energy transformation, what are we heading for? When you talk of smart grid, is it a new thing? No, of course it's not a new thing. Smartness is the ongoing journey, as has been told and emphasized by Shri Rahul ji, of course, at the beginning. It's not a destination as such. We have to trace. We have been smart. Of course, smartness has a different connotation. Different connotation, I can say, smart किसी को कहें तो अलग चीज आती है. Earlier it used to be different. Clever, intelligent, shrewd, all together goes into that. But the smartness goes with the wisdom, of course, if we go to the positive side of that. So basically how to evolve, how to go further, how to take care of all the things which are coming inside. Technology part is very important. Technology part, if we say the digital transformation is going on, is a smartness when we talk about is a two-way flow of electricity. We have earlier data, now it's electricity also is going on. And I think the earlier concept of linear flow of that energy, that has entirely changed. It's not transmission, generation, distribution, and the consumer and consumer. Now it can come from any point of it. We have DER, and DER is affecting too much of our all this energy value chain. And when we talk of distribution energy resources, then of course we have been seeing that this is clean energy, everything is going on. Just been to UK, I think the last month, and then we have deliberation with the different regulators. And of course, if we go from their grid side maximum demand is around, I think, 46 gigawatt. And in India, we've already met to the tune of 250 gigawatt in this summer. So you can imagine that, I think, the vastness of our grid. And we have Shri Naveen Srivastava ji from Power Grid, which has been, I think, the parent body of the GridCo and now the Grid Controller of India. Not GridCo, basically the PSCO and now the Grid Controller of India. We have been able to deliver, rather formulate with the under guidance of Ministry of Power, one nation, one grid, one frequency. And we have been managing this huge grid. And we have been able to exchange, you can say, nearly to the tune of 1 lakh megawatt of energy. You can imagine the vastness of energy. And the peak demand is 250 gigawatt and there is 47. And now they have, even the London, they have shut down their last fossil fuel plant. coal plant. Gas to chal raha, gas is the basic base load there. So coal plant they have shut down, and they have been able to meet all through this renewable energy and all that. For that, they have to have a regulator, and they have just passed last year to have a NESO, that's a National Energy System Operator. We have already had it in 2010. We have been managing this grid. But of course, the vastness and the challenges and to manage that grid, of course, solar hours, non-solar hours, when we say of net zero, we have very net zero energy buildings in our country also. Some are coming up and some. But what is the use of net zero when we have to get the major power from the grid? We have to manage. Of course, the FDR is coming up, that the firm and dispatchable renewable energy contracts have been awarded. And of course, 24-hour supply has to come from. Then the BESS, etc. all together then come. Then how to manage that? Mr. Batra has highlighted of the smart meters. We have been going under a very, I think, the massive, largest exercise in the entire world. And we are the only country which has developed a smart meter standard, IS 16444. 250 million meters, smart meters. That is a target we are having. It will be increasing because as the consumer base increases 7% GDP growth that is just highlighted, and we are traversing on the journey very fast. Keeping that in mind, how to go about it? When we talk of 250 million smart meters, now nearly I think 15 million smart meters are already been deployed. It's not only for reducing the losses. Losses have been reduced by BSCO, Tata Power and other players without using even the smart meters. But I can tell you, when we talk of this net zero and everything, after nearly 2030, it is very difficult to manage our grid without smart meters. Why? Because the real-time information and how to manage the entire grid based on the distribution, injection and everything, we have to take measures which can control, which can take care of energy security, which can balance our grids, which can altogether give a 24/7 power supply to each and every consumer. And not only power supply, we are not saying about the quality of the power supply also. We have been able to give in every nook and corner, every village, every consumer, we have been able to give the connection. Now to give them electricity, quality power, and to manage the grid effectively and to meet the trajectory of our development, because we have given a target of a developed India by 2047. And we are already meeting the target from the energy security point of view. Now we are having at the moment nearly, I think, 40% generation, 40% is basically installed capacity with RE. We have met that target. SDC target we are meeting. And by 2030, we are asking for basically 50% of renewable energy from 50% of energy consumption or energy fulfillment by RE. And we are, I think, will be reaching the target of 500 gigawatt before that. And after that, we have given a target of 2070 net zero. Basically, we want to have that target. So we are traversing on the that journey very fast and very effectively. But how to tackle about the grid, how to take care of the challenges. When we talk of challenges, this entire digital transformation, when we talk about, then we have to take up multiple things. When we talk of digital transformation and everything, there is one is the ecosystem. Ecosystem, let's say in case of smart metering, we are able to develop that. AMI ecosystem we have been able to develop. One is the standard part, regulation part, and of course the technology. When we talk of the smart grid pilots, which Mr. Batra has highlighted, it's not for AT&C loss reduction only. It is for testing the technology. Technology, basically the main crux of the technology is entire value chain is communication. When we talk of communication, I think I'm happy to share that every technology we can say, whether it is GPRS, whether it is RF, or even the PLC, which has been very prevalent in Europe, we have also tested that case in Agartala. And successfully, nearly 45,000 smart meters based on this PLC technology has been tested. So one part is testing the technology, one part is smart metering use cases. Use cases we have been able to utilize, because generally when we talk of smart meter, generally the concept of the cost comes into that. Who will pay that cost? The cost will be recovered, and we have shown the use cases of that in particular pilot also, and now it's been demonstrated by utility like Indore, Assam, and the installation I think in case of UP. And I'm happy to share one scholar, I think a backward or a laggard state like Bihar. Bihar is leading the country in the largest prepaid metering installation to the tune of nearly 50 lakh smart meters have been installed, and that too in prepaid mode. So that will give a sustenance level to the DISCOM utility. But of course, it's adding to the consumer, you can say the empowerment. How? Because consumer is having the energy, it has the transparency of the billing and everything like that, and he can recharge at his own will and wishes. But next thing is how we can empower it more? Can we give it additional consumer notification, which can add it to the security, which has been issued by the rules and etc.? Are we able to give the connection in real time? 7 days, 5 days, what have been targeted for? The rules have been issued. We have to empower that. The entire ecosystem has to come into play into that regard. And of course, when we talk about the grid, energy security, then of course, all this digital twin technology, predictive maintenance, and everything that comes into play. And of course, has been taught, I think, even in case of this blockchain technology, and I'm happy to share the UPERC has already issued the guidelines with respect to, you can say, the peer-to-peer trading. And already a pilot is going to be, I think that minimal has been done. And even in smart distribution project, what is the next level to the smart metering and all that, that we have already sanctioned for certain cities to test case the technology like peer-to-peer trading, predictive maintenance type of thing, DT health monitoring, that is a primary, I think insight to be given to the utility to maintain and manage the distribution transformer more effectively, more you can say efficiently in that regard. And of course, this entire technology gamut has been given to the utility and to test case, and then to rather extrapolate into the entire city and then to the state level and that like that. And of course, other things come into play. I think I'm just saw Mr. Rathore coming into being, then I realized, of course, cyber security. I think number of topics have been covered through the days, and cyber security then also come into play, how to do that, because all the digital transformation, everything which we are going to implement, then of course this thing would come into play, how to have the basically ensure the security and safety of our critical infrastructure. And in that case, cyber security norms, etc. have to be played, and that has to also be taken care of. Of course, in a bidding document, we have taken care to deploy, but of course, these all has to be tested and regularly being tested on a regular basis, so that any penetration on any, if we able to notice any challenge in that regard, that could be controlled or rather taken care of at that time. So I think in that perspective, we'll see then all the digital transformation and everything, but we are talking from the energy security point of view, that we have to take care of that. And not, I think, last but not least, I think this innovation and collaboration part, an entire AMI and other energy ecosystem, that has to be need to be focused upon that, and every player has to play that role. And I'm happy to share that being part of ISGAN Presidium, that is the International Smart Grid Action Network, which I'm part of that as a Vice Chair India, heading that. India is one of the founding countries. In that case also, we have just shared in the last EXCO in Korea, that is a policy brief of basically long-term planning and implementation of the smart distribution grid. And of course, I think there we have given a policy insight, basically 4 policy insight I would like to highlight and share in that regard. What is that basically required? One is basically to provide confidence to the investors, said that they have a confidence to invest in the country. And in that regard, I am happy to share this AMI SBD bid, which has been able to transform this smart metering journey and 250 million meters what we are targeting in that. That is the TOTEX model, OPEX model, because they have to invest everything. They have to take care of every SLA, and based on this SLA, they will be paid, because the investment would be coming on, and utility has to pay just per meter per month, and they'll be realizing benefit. And of course, the AI and machine learning input that will transform the journey to that, because ultimately the data is the basically key. Until unless we utilize that data to basically effectuate the transformation and give the benefit to the consumers and of course the utility, then it will not just give will not be happy to have this loss reduction and everything. We have to utilize this AI/ML techniques to utilize and mine the data and to have the critical inputs to basically utilize that. And in that case, DTT health monitoring, even the utilities, SCADA DMS and every application like that, load balancing and everything, that will come into play like that only if we are able to utilize the AI/ML facility through that. So I think these all facilities, these have to be taken care of that. That is, of course, we have to give the environment to the investors so that this policy transformation be going on and they should be able to realize the money they are going to invest. And of course, the encourage and facilitate coordination among all the actors. These all players have to be on one board. They should not be one player targeting or working in their own silos. They have to have the journey together. And of course, adopt enhanced long-term planning practices. It has to be long-term. It should not be short-term vision. It should not be governed by just a myopic vision. It has to be long-term. We have to work toward that and together. And of course, ensure sufficient knowledge and data availability. With that, of course, the technology intervention part, capacity building, etc., that we have to all together focus. We have developed the SGKC center at power grid monitor, and Government of India is financing that, and infrastructure has been provided from that perspective, and some basic concept, I think power grid is running that. Even we are developing an incubation hub into that, so that that technology can be showcased, and all major players can come onto that board, and that they can demonstrate, and use cases can be taken forward by the adopted by the utilities, so that real results can be basically delivered to the utilities, of course to the consumers, and of course the entire ecosystem goes together. And I think that is the topic, and that is the objective of the smart energy system what we are targeting for. And I think this workshop will be, I think over the day, we'll be deliberating on these ideas. And naturally, I will request Mr. Sudhir to collate this idea and share with the ministry and other stakeholders, so that really we can work on and take it further together. Thank you. Thank you for having the patience to hear me out. Thank you.